Greetings, I'm Dike Rostant. Welcome back to the TTT News. We are going in depth on a range of topics with the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs and the newly minted Leader of Gov't Business in the Upper House, Senator Dr. Amery Browne. Welcome, Minister. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, DK. It's nice to be here once again. I'm doing well, busy, productive, and continuing to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago as we seek to take our nation through some very interesting times, as it were. There's a lot of work ahead of us, and that work requires all of us to use our talents, our experience, and our attributes to the best service of this nation.
Thank you so much. And speaking of those interesting times, what are some of those factors? Because I'm sure there's a methodology. So some of the factors that you look at influencing an official position on an international conflict.
Well, it's a good question because we very much are experiencing a major conflict taking place in Europe right now. So in response to your question, when we get information on a matter of concern, such as an international conflict, it usually would come to us via one of our 20 overseas missions. So we receive a lot of information on the current Ukraine crisis, the invasion of Ukraine, from our mission in Brussels, as well as from our mission at the United Nations in New York. That information comes to us here at headquarters, and we have a division of professional staff, the multilateral division, as well as other experienced Foreign Service officers that would engage in analysis, that would engage in communication with their peers to form and inform positions that Trinidad and Tobago can take, consistent with our foreign policy, consistent with our principles, and of course, always consistent with the UN Charter and international law. And then I myself, as Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, would remain engaged with the Prime Minister, with the Cabinet, and also with my peers across the CARICOM region. And generally, we seek to have meaningful exchanges and, where possible, to form common positions. That certainly has been the process that has shaped our position on this Ukraine crisis. You would note that Trinidad and Tobago has by no means been silent on this matter. We were some of the very earliest voices in registering our deep concern, and that position has been maintained, both coming out of the government here. I've instructed our missions overseas to use all available forums to register the strong position of Trinidad and Tobago.
What is that position, Minister? Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, generally, these are the things that go into the position. So let's just lay it out. What is that specific position?
Well, we are certainly of the view that the invasion of Ukraine is a violation of the UN Charter. That is crystal clear. We have also called for the immediate cessation of hostilities. We've also called for the withdrawal of foreign troops, which are Russian troops, on Ukrainian soil. And we've called for urgent measures to safeguard the civilian population, to ensure the facilities for the safe evacuation of persons who wish to flee the conflict. And we've underscored particular concern about the plight of non-Europeans, having ourselves had the experience of one identified national of Trinidad and Tobago, with whom we work very closely in ensuring that he was able to flee that country safely. He's now in a neighboring nation with his wife and is safe and secure. But all of that went into forming the position of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That position has also been reflected in the multilateral statements, the UN resolutions, and the other declarations that Trinidad and Tobago has either co-sponsored or voted for. In fact, I had a meeting just this week with the representatives of 10 of our international partners, including some of the major nations of this world, because there is a new resolution that is being shaped. And again, this one focuses particularly on the humanitarian aspect of this war. And Trinidad and Tobago, once again, is not just a supporter of this new resolution, but we are also a co-sponsor of the resolution. Once again, demonstrating Trinidad and Tobago's leadership role in ensuring that the global community's voice is meaningfully registered on this crisis, all pointing us toward the need for peaceful diplomatic resolution of what has unfolded, ensuring the safety of the civilian population and a restoration of peace in Europe, because there are implications and peace is now threatened right across the world.
And I like the fact that you speak about implications, Minister. Answer the person who's saying, okay, well, yes, I understand the humanitarian side of it and war is not good, but what kind of ripple effects does that have in Trinidad and Tobago? Yes, you spoke about the 20 missions and you got this information from the mission in Brussels, but how does that affect us here? Speak to that impact. Answer that person. Thank you.
It affects us very significantly, and many sectors are affected. Let's start with the big picture. Trinidad and Tobago is a key part of a global community. We're all interconnected, and we cannot just close our eyes and withdraw from engagement when our voice is required. This is clearly an example of one of those circumstances where all nations must not just be concerned, but must be engaged towards a solution to the crisis. But as a small developing country, our food security is threatened. The supply of resources, a key part of the economy, is the manufacturing sector. And we've seen a number of examples where components, raw materials, supplies, as we're connected to a larger reality, these factors have been affected, have had an impact, and can continue to cause serious effects on national economy. In addition, we have a diaspora in many parts of the world, including in Europe, and they are also affected because as large numbers of refugees, it's now 3 million and counting, are exiting Ukraine, they are being absorbed into a number of other European jurisdictions, a number of the major capitals in Europe, where we have diaspora living and working, and there's a ripple effect right across the world. Also, at the heart of this crisis is the need for respect for the sovereign boundaries and borders of nations. And once there's a continued decline in such respect, where the international law and the UN Charter might be disregarded, that has implications for our security as well. Because we don't have a large army and we depend on an international framework of law and order for our very future survival and existence. So Trinidad and Tobago has a stake in this, and we will continue to fulfill our responsibility.
And we will continue this conversation when we return from the break. We are speaking with the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Senator Dr. Amery Browne. Stay with us. We return with more. Welcome back. We are taking a deep dive into the work of the Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister, Senator Dr. Amery Browne. And Senator, you started off talking about service. And I want to get an idea of some of those things that you're proud of in terms of the development of international relations, that framework that you were speaking about under your tenure, and specifically during the pandemic.
Thank you very much. Well, the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has always played a very important role within the framework of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. But in the last 2 years, certainly during my own tenure of humble service and during the COVID-19 pandemic, this ministry has had to step up even further and play an even more meaningful role. Certainly, we were very much engaged in the acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines. You would recall there were serious challenges facing countries like our own. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Rowley, stepped up as one of the most vocal global voices, representing not just our country, but also our region and similar regions in calling for improved vaccine equity. And our professionals, our foreign service officers, our heads of mission worked very closely with me and the government to ensure that we were able to make progress on that front. And we've made tremendous progress. And we now have vaccines available to the people of our nation. But it went and it goes much further than COVID-19, because as we seek to diversify our economy, our network of partnerships with nations large and small, and with our regional neighbors, as well as those in the wider global framework, are viewed as essential for the future of this country, essential for our economic recovery, and essential for Trinidad and Tobago to continue to serve in punching above its weight class. The objective really has been, and to borrow a phrase from one of our founding fathers of regional integration, as it were, we are called upon to be friends of all, while satellites of none. Friends of all, but not satellites of any nation. And certainly if you examine how we've approached our task, we've been able to build, strengthen, and maintain partnerships and friendships with countries, some of whom are not friends with each other. But Trinidad and Tobago has been able, through our skillful negotiation, brokering of situations, and the deployment of experienced diplomats and foreign service officers, has been able to expand our relationship with the United States of America, which is our largest trading partner, where now the dialogue is ongoing, it's consistent, it's highly productive. At the same time, we've further strengthened our relationship with the People's Republic of China, with the European Union, with the government of Canada, and then closer within our region, within CARICOM. Dr. Rowley was chairman for 6 months. We used that time very well. And Trinidad and Tobago is as involved as we've ever been, if not more so, in the life and work of the Caribbean community.
And I want to hone in on that a little bit, please, Minister, as you intone the words of Prime Minister Barrow. What is some of the work specifically done within CARICOM so that we are friends and satellites of none, and we are helping to bring that, what other people may look at as the periphery, a little closer to home, especially in the context of seeing how vulnerable some supply chains can be? So shoring up and building up those, fostering those relations within CARICOM is one of the things I want to ask about, even including CSME certification.
Well, absolutely. Trinidad and Tobago has taken recently, we're in the process of taking a very important step using our legislation to demonstrate to CARICOM that we are very much part of the single market and economy. Our regional partners have agreed that one of the most important aspects of moving regional integration forward is a single market and economy. Traditionally, we've had for the last several years 5 sectors in which we've certified life skills certificates to allow our nationals and other CARICOM nationals to move freely within Trinidad and Tobago. As you would have noted recently in the Senate, I brought a bill approved by the government of Trinidad and Tobago to expand that list to 10 categories. So Trinidad and Tobago has joined a number of other nations. We're ahead of a few in ensuring that we are doing our part to expand the single market and economy, and to ensure that there's a greater degree of free movement focused on skilled nationals in a range of categories, free movement within our region. That is seen as vital for regional investment. That is seen as vital to help draw some of our powerful diaspora back into the region. Because when they come back here and invest, they're not just able to invest in Trinidad and Tobago or Guyana or Jamaica. They're able to make that investment within a regional economy and get more value for their money, more bang for their buck. In addition, these facilities really open up a whole new world for our nationals. We have so many skilled people in this country, and now we are able to offer our talents, our skills and capacities, not just within our local borders, but within a much wider environment. Again, we see this as vital for our economic recovery as a nation and a region. And we look at the example right across the world where smaller countries, individual states are coming together as regional entities to distill and broker their strengths, leverage their strengths, which is seen as very important to our future our economic recovery, development of resilience, and a greater sense of regional integration. So
And I think it'll be vital, Minister, being able to have a conversation with someone from the line ministry as to the certification process, how people can avail themselves of it. In the last 30 seconds, your thoughts, closing comments, especially your new role as Leader of Gov't Business in the Senate.
Well, I've always been of the view that Trinidad and Tobago owes me nothing. I owe this country everything. It's taken care of, it's educated me very well, and I owe this country my fullest effort. I've approached all tasks to which I've been assigned with honesty, integrity, focus, discipline. The Prime Minister has entrusted me with the role as Leader of Gov't Business in the Senate, and already I've begun engaging closely with the team that we have there, recognizing that the Senate is a very important part of our legislature. We want to bring a sense of respect, dignity, cerebral engagement, all to ensure that the people's business is always well served.
And we respectfully have to end this conversation on a kind of cliffhanger, Minister. Senator Dr. Amery Browne, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, thank you so much for your time. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you for joining us.